This book is very useful and if not effective. In any shape, way, or form, this book is needed in all areas of our life, school and everything of that nature. Now, I come from a background of very shy and introverted. After I found about personal development, spirituality, law of attraction, I was hungry to know what is it that we don't know about society, about the way that we think about things. And once you change the lens which you see the world, the way that you see the world changes. And when you have certain information, the lens which you see the world, it changes. You know how like people say perception is reality? It's true. When you have certain knowledge or certain type of thing, it changes and molds the lens which you see the world. Now, this book help you to instead of when you're shy and when you are very introverted, you think about yourself, right? And then you think, most people talk about, they're antisocial. It's just not. We're uncomfortable of making conversation. Like when I was a kid, I didn't know how to make a conversation. You thought, I think other people would be more socially intelligent than me, but it's just that there wasn't a way that the school teaches the student how to express oneself. There's ways to express oneself is through your the body language, the way that you express through your art, but also the way that we communicate through words is also how we express ourselves, right? And so I didn't know that. So this book helped me a lot. And I will give you inside the principle what it say. Be genuinely interested in other people. Smile. Third principle is remember that a name is to the person's sweetest and most important sound in any language. Principle 4, be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Talk in terms of other person interests. Principle 6, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. And so I would practice this every single day. I mean, I'm still not perfect at it. It's like this, right? It helped me also to do interview authors and experts in their field, right? And it's a skill set that I have ingrained in me. But also, it's when someone interview me, I wanted to turn around and interview them. Michelle, when she interviewed me, she was good. She was good at interviewing me. Like, I can tell that she was really good at interviewing. So I was like, you know what? I want to hear her story. So I switch it back and ask about her. Generally because, I was listening to Patrick Bet-David. He's an entrepreneur. He has millions of subscribers on YouTube. His YouTube channel is Valuetainment. Anybody who's an entrepreneur or any expert like that should follow him on YouTube. I listen to him a lot. But he's like, I like hearing people's stories, right? And if he's on the plane and people will ask about him, but then he turn around and ask about the other person's story. I'm interested in other people's stories and where they come from because it's very interesting other than my own. And also kind of do a research about how can I connect the dots between human beings, or are they the same? But one thing, a while back when me and my friend and I, we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards and we were talking, he's like he hated small talk, and I do hate small talk. To the average person, they are unaware about these principles where if you let other people talk about themselves, they would talk forever. And if you pinpoint and find, if people talk about something that they're very excited about, a subject, you can just pinpoint it and target that subject and go deep into it and let them express that through their words. And you can see that they will light up as they talk. So that's helped me to pinpoint with people's interests. It's not always easy. I trip up on that, but you have to actively engage in listening, not fake listening. I tend to forget this sometimes, but I always practice this whenever I feel like it or not, when I feel like talking to people or not, because I want it sometimes I don't feel like talking to people. It's not that I'm trying to be mean. I just don't feel like it, right? But when there are times that I want to talk to people, I can just use this small principle. Observe and find ways that geared toward them, not me. Oftentimes, when we don't socialize with other people, it's because we're thinking of what they think. So Bob Proctor said, take focus off yourself and focus on the other person. And, the principle that people like to talk about themselves, right? So you know that, and then get that deep and sink in, and it's universal. This will work. It's universal, right? And try to find something that they're interested in. It's all universal. You can find on Facebook or whatever. Like law of attraction will always, spiritual people, law of attraction will always be attracted to certain information, right? Like Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, what was it, Adam, or Bob Proctor, or any other law of attraction type people think, or entrepreneur will always be gravitated to entrepreneur subject if they're entrepreneur or business, like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos and all that. But one thing I hate the most is once you understand this principle and once you have studied so much, because most of the people don't study as much as, let's say, you. So you have all this. So the reason why I read so many books on different subjects, so I can connect them on that subject. But I'm not an expert, so I can't go deep into like they are. So my friend and I, he's like, yeah, I hate small talk. When small talk, that's it. Like most people, if you just tell the stories of, let's say if they're older and they have a lot, when you're older, you have a bunch of stories to tell. So you tell, right? But when you're young, you're starting out, you're either 15 or younger, that's when your story begins. Well, actually it begins very young, but when you grow up, you have a bunch of stories that you can tell that you did, or whatever that is. But I can't, so the average person would talk just I'm interested in their story, but let's say if we keep meeting each other, there's nothing new that we can talk about. People would talk that they, go home, and because usually I don't talk about books because most people aren't interested in books, but I'll talk about something that but the thing is, when you engage, you make them feel important, right? That they are not like doing a technique, but they are important, that they matter, what their story matter, that you do care about their well-being, right? But it's not sexy when the average person just go to work and they say, oh, I go to work, and then they say, they did this and this and this, but nothing exciting. Something, for me, I need to release like a good feeling chemical in my brain. So I want to go deeper into, because my friend, mentor, and right, my friend mentor, we would talk for hours, right? Because he knows something that I don't know. He know a lot, right? And I always try and talk to him. Like at the beginning when I first saw him, I would ask a bunch of questions. I would ask. That's how I want to engage. I want to ask a bunch of questions and throw at you. I don't want to assume that I know everything, right? So I just ask. The most important thing that you could ever do is ask a person, because you might not know. You might learn something that day, because there's always something new that you can learn. Because one day, if you think that you know it all, one day when you stop learning, stop asking questions, it's the day that you stop learning. Because by asking questions, you learn something. There are millions of ways that you can learn. But I could spend hours talking on a subject that make me come alive, passionate, dreams, vision, something that the average person don't think about their life, that they let life pass away, pass, right? Think about it. For me, when let's say an entrepreneur friend, and they're talking about they're building their business, or they're talking about law of attraction, or they're talking about personal development, or they're talking about quantum physics, or they're talking about something that they're so passionate about, I can just sit there and listen, man. I was like, wow, really? And I would try to engage if I can. And we would listen, we would talk for hours on it. Just like Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! I can just, but I don't know much. There's a lot of learning curve that I need to go into when talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I hate it when I hated small talk. Like, you can just do small talk. I can just do that with strangers, right? Strangers are the easiest, but the thing is, they're living their life the way that they live their life, and but when you develop a personal development mindset, because when you're an entrepreneur, or you're whether you're building a business or you're doing interview, that is the fantastic way to because I was listening to Ed Milet. He was talking about business. It's like you're self-discovering all the time, and you don't get not to do personal development when you're building a business or whatever, right? He said that, and I was like, that's true. Like, every time you're doing something that you have to discover about yourself or reinvent yourself, you have to reinvent the way you do things, the way that you what got you success today won't get you where you want to go, right? That's how you have to keep reinventing, because you can see that it's like you're chipping away everything that you know and do won't exist like 10 years, 5 years, or 20 years from now. Just like businesses, right? I remember I used to go to Circuit City, right? And Circuit City used to be like near the mall, and I love Circuit City, right? Circuit City is where they have a lot of TVs and DVDs, and I would get all my electronic there because it's so awesome, right? They used to have, before they had Netflix, they had Blockbuster, right? Blockbuster was amazing, right? And you would just go there and explore whatever. I remember I went to Blockbuster for what was it? It was a gaming. It was for Pokemon, right? Pokemon, they have like a guide for Pokemon version. I don't remember if I would buy it, but I think I have it. I don't remember. It's been a long time. But they have also, I would go there to get PS2 controller. I don't know if they had Tenkaichi 2 or 3 there, but back in the day, they would have lots of movies, and they have VHS, and you would explore. You'd be like, wow, this is awesome. But now you have Netflix, you have all the other apps to watch, or you have YouTube now. Like, things change, right? And now Amazon is trying to take over the bookstores and everything Amazon, right? And like, boom, your product just come like one day, though I don't do that. So, and a lot of things are disappearing because of online products, online e-commerce, right? But average people don't normally think about this, right? When they don't, when you're passionate about something, you will talk it forever. And I just hate small talk. I'm serious. I can't do it. I can just turn around, because when you know these principles, the average person don't know that you're using it on them. It's not. That's why I'm uncomfortable every time I try to. Now I'm already used to it, because they don't know. But the other things that I'm uncomfortable using, I don't like it. So that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time.